What's good, Panther Nation? It's your boy, Myron McRae, a.k.a. Tornado McRae, across the skies of the internet, here with another episode of Panther Pride TV, your one-stop shop for all your Panther notifications and your Panther obligations. Happy Monday to all you lovely people on this side of the internet. Hope y'all are having a great day. Summer is here because June is now officially started, so you know that means summer has officially begun. The kiddos are out of school, and parents, I'm sorry if you got to watch your kids all summer now, and now the teachers have tagged you when you're it, but it happens, man. But guys, we're going to get into today's docket because it is post June 1st. So there are some things that are on the agenda, including the main one being the salary cap. Now that it is past June 1st, the post June 1st salary cap updates have taken effect. And so we got to see where Carolina resides on that spectrum and see where they land at, man. Because we've seen the moves. We know that releasing Jadeveon Clowney was part of opening up cap space for this year, heading into it. And honestly, let's take a look as to what we came up with. So, as of right now, the Carolina Panthers have $18.7 million in cap room. And you know what? I'm gonna give them a little applause for that. Hey, that's more room than we could have had. And we currently sit 21st in the NFL. And we're actually third most cap room we're third in the NFC when compared to Tampa Bay with $26.6 million, New Orleans $22.6 million, and Atlanta at 5. Oh God! Listen, that Kirk Cousins move really hurting Atlanta. But honestly, I'm not upset about this. I'm not mad about it. I think Carolina is in a good spot in terms of cap space. Obviously, you want more cap room because more cap room means that you can do more things in free agency and bring in more higher end tier players without worrying about breaking the bank. We all know this, but we're not in a bad spot. We're not in a bad spot. We can still make some moves and we can still make something shake financially. Now, is it where other teams are? No, because again, we're 21st in the NFL, so we still are not in that top 15, top 10 echelon of cap room. But we're also not horrible in terms of it either, in terms of we have nothing to do and we're just in limbo and stuck with whatever roster we got. So I like where we're at, and I expect Carolina, because they have this cap space, to make a move in the summer. And by make a move, I mean either sign somebody in free agency or make a trade for somebody. Specifically, I think we're going to make a move for a DB. I think we're all thinking that. I personally am believing that's the way they're going to go. It's either going to be a corner or a safety. I think that's the way that Carolina is going to play this out. And the DB that I've heard in rumors, because he's in trade rumors, contract talks, everything of that nature, is one Jaire Alexander. I've mentioned him before. I've mentioned him on this channel because I talked about him when I was speaking about Trayvon Diggs. I did speak about him. And here's the thing with you got to ask the question, does a trade for him make sense? Now, here are Jireos Stats since 2020, and I'll give you the reason why I picked 2020 as his starting line, because he came into the league in 2018. But 2020, there's going to be a number that you see. There's going to be two things as to why this is kind of the starting point of where I picked for Jaire. And the number one being, but first, before I even get into why, let's look at his numbers. So in that time span, he's played 49 games, 163 total tackles, 131 solo tackles, 9 interceptions, 42 pass deflections. That's not bad. That's not bad. Honestly, those are solid numbers, and he's been able to hold himself down. The reason why I chose 2020 is because that's when Trayvon Diggs came into the league. And these are the numbers side by side because I went so hard against Trayvon Diggs. And I was very adamant about not signing Diggs. I had to do the comparison because I got to be fair. I got to be fair about this, guys. And when I look at the numbers, Trayvon Diggs has more tackles, both total and solo tackles. They each have 1 sack. Trayvon Diggs has 20 interceptions to Jaire's 9. Trayvon Diggs has 63 pass deflections to Jaire's 42. They each have 2 forced fumbles, and Trayvon Diggs has played in 9 more games. So from you're looking at that standpoint, it's like Trayvon is outdoing Jaire in every statistical category. Now, I will say one stat you can kind of be privy to when you know the cornerback position, interceptions and pass deflections. Generally speaking, if you're good at your job, teams aren't trying you as much, hence why you may have fewer pass deflections and fewer interceptions. So that number can spin a narrative depending on how you want to push it. You could say, oh, anytime teams try Trayvon, he's just that much of a lockdown, or you could say teams are not throwing to Jaire at all. And that's either one's a fair statement, I think. I think you can go either way. You can spin it to a narrative. But here's the other thing that I got to throw into account, bro. Jaire's been more injury prone than Trayvon. And I know I talked about Trayvon Diggs being injury prone. Jaire's been worse. 3 of his last 4 years, the man has played in 7 games or less. 2021, man's missed 13 games with his shoulder injury. 2023, the man's missed 9 games with back and shoulder problems. 2024, the man missed 10 games due to groin and knee problems. And then just this year in 2025, in January, he had arthroscopic surgery on his PCL. Like, that just happened 6 months ago. So that's not looking good, bro. That's not looking good. He's injury prone. He has been injury prone the last few years. 2022, when he had no injuries, he was back to being his Pro Bowl self. But it's like we're now getting to that stage where Jaire has to be healthy for it to make sense. But he hasn't been healthy, so it doesn't make sense. And it's not to knock on him, because like I said, when the boy is on the field and the boy is healthy, the boy is one of them. Like, both healthy, Jaire Alexander clears Trayvon Diggs. I'm sorry, not sorry. I will stand on that. But availability, the best ability is availability at times, bro. Like, we all know that. And money-wise, I got to show y'all this too. So Jaire signed his 4-year, $80 million extension back in 2022. So we're midway through that. If we trade for Jaire Alexander, his cap hit this year is $24.6 million, which is more than Trayvon Diggs was. If we trade for Jaire Alexander and 2020, and we still keep him through 2026, dang, I forgot the dollar sign. But it's $27 million. And then he becomes an unrestricted free agent after that. So a more expensive, more injury-prone corner, I have to be consistent. I have to be consistent with myself, because I said those were the things against Trayvon Diggs as to why not to trade for him. I have to concede and say it does not make sense, and Carolina should not trade for Jaire Alexander. Even though he grew up in Charlotte, lived most of his life, went to Rocky Mount, or he went to high school in Charlotte, this, that, and the third. It would be cool to bring him home, but all logical signs point to this not being a smart move for Carolina, and I'm not with them trading for Jaire Alexander, knowing all of this information and knowing my stance, how I was against Trayvon Diggs, trading for him. I got to be consistent and be like, this isn't a smart move either. Again, when the boy's healthy, boy's one of them. The problem is the last 4 years, we've rarely gotten a healthy Jaire Alexander. Sorry, not sorry. And lastly, guys, we got to look at what Bleacher Report's talking about. So, for those of you who may not have seen, for those of you who don't know, Bleacher Report released a list of every team's most important position battle going into the season, as well as who they feel their summer breakout star is going to be, or their summer breakout candidate is going to be. So, naturally, I looked at the list, and first thing I beeline for is Carolina. I'm not going to lie to you. And for them, Bleacher Report says the most important position battle is edge rusher, and then their summer breakout candidate is Xavier Legette. Now, when I looked at what they said about edge rusher, they said primarily due to how bad our rush defense was last year. And it's like, all right, so we've got Derek back, we have Bobby Brown, Tershawn Wharton, and then you're throwing in Umamiela, Scorton, and others. It's like, how is this edge rushing attack going to fare? They need to step up, especially Umamiela and Scorton. They have to step up and make sure they're at their A game to help revamp this defense and actually make this rushing defense be taken seriously. So I looked at that and I was like, okay, but that's not really a position battle to me. To me, position battle means, hey, this job is open for anybody. Somebody can take it. Who's going to stand out? Like, what are we looking at? What's going to make the difference? So I don't think position battle is the key phrase. Now, I do think position to watch. Edge rusher, yes. If we're saying that, position to watch is what I would say. But position battle in terms of the personnel, I wouldn't say that. And then, again, they said Xavier Legette is their summer breakout candidate. I'm not against it. I'm not against that because there's been so much hype around Ted McMillan and around him becoming the number one star. And with Legette's season last year, kind of trying to get his footing, getting better and revamped. They were saying, hey, he's not necessarily the best route runner in turn or the best at getting off press. So having a whole offseason to refine those tools, learn and get better could make him ready for a breakout season. I'm not against it. However, I do differ, and I will admit that. So here's where I stand. For me, the most important position battle is corner. And my summer breakout candidate is actually Lathan Ransom. Now, the reason why I say corner is because we all know who is going to be that corner opposite of JC. Who's going to be the guy that is tapped to say, hey, you are now our number two. You got to hold it down over here. If we go cover two man, you got to be able to hold it down. If we go cover one, just straight, or man's all across, whatever the case may be, cover zero, can you hold water as our number two corner? Like that's honestly it. So to me, whoever gets picked there, that is the most important battle in my eyes. I don't think anything else because we know who we're essentially getting for the D-line and maybe linebacker. Linebacker is another one. You could say that's a position battle to watch too. I think corner is the most important one. And then the reason why I'm choosing Lathan Ransom for my summer breakout candidate, I could have gone the obvious answer of Jalen Coker here. That was one of the first ones that came to my head because with T-Mac, with the T-Mac hype, Xavier Legette, Adam Thielen, it's easy to say that Coker is going to be the breakout candidate again. It's easy to point that. And I'm not going to be wrong in saying I thought that. Y'all can say Coker in the comments. I agree with it. I'm going Lathan Ransom just as something different because of his versatility. I think Lathan Ransom could surprise everybody. And lo and behold, watch this man turn out to be the flipping number two corner opposite of JC. I'm not against it. I don't think it's impossible to fathom. As versatile as Lathan Ransom is, that is a very good possibility. So, to me, he has a chance to be the biggest breakout star and the breakout candidate and prove to the world just how valuable of a draft pick he was and how valuable of a player he can be for this team. But, guys, that's all I have for today's episode. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can always get notified of when these videos drop. Also, comment below. What do y'all think about where Carolina is on the salary cap? Do you think Carolina should trade for Jaire Alexander? And what is your most important position battle? And who is your summer breakout candidate? Because at the end of the day, guys, what do I know? I'm just a skinny brother with two tats. Peace. Much love to all you Panther Nation. Take care. Later days. And as always, keep pounding. I'll see you next time.